Hi, my name is Janice. I'm a yoga therapist and a fitness instructor, and I specialize in fitness and agility and balance for the older adult. Today I'd like to share with you a gentle home practice, little spinal movements, some gentle movements that you can do throughout your day just to keep the spine and the body limber and moving. So we'll start with a seated practice today. And so taking a moment to find a chair that's comfortable for you, and just see if you can sit up tall in your chair. And so you might even want to stay a little bit forward in the chair rather than sitting all the way back, but your comfort is the most important. So just take a moment to feel your feet firmly on the floor. And you might even just take a moment to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in the nose, out the mouth. Just 2 more like that. One more breath, just checking in with how you're feeling today. Yeah. I'll take a moment to address your shoulders. So starting with the shoulders, lifting them up towards your ears, and then just letting them relax down. You might incorporate the breath. Inhale as you shrug the shoulders up. Exhale as you let them relax down. Good. Maybe one more. Yeah. Let's take a moment to address your shoulder mobility. So see if you can allow your shoulders to move up towards your ears, back towards the back of your chair, down towards your sit bones, and then a little bit forward. So you're making backwards moving shoulder rolls, up, back, down, and around. So if you have a pain in the shoulder or a limitation in movement, be curious here. Be kind, be curious. If the movement feels really uncomfortable, see if a smaller movement might feel better. Sometimes less is more with these small warm-ups for the joints. So the shoulders rolling up, back, and down. Try that one last time. Up, back, and down. Good. Now as the shoulders relax down, bringing the elbows close, palms up. Great position here just to remind the shoulders to slide down and under. And a warm-up for the rotator cuff and the inner shoulder muscles. Just a little bit of this movement with the hands moving out and in. Just a couple times. You may notice some restriction in the movement. It might be really small. Yeah, maybe one more. Good. So from this position here, if we bring our hands back to the thighs, in this position here, if we sit up really tall, think about maybe a book on the crown of your head, so you're trying to sit up as tall as you can. Take a breath. Good. Now totally take a moment to relax and slouch. So just kind of slouch. You can even allow your chin to come towards your chest. So try that again. Take a breath in, sitting up tall. And then exhale, slouching. Maybe the chin coming towards the chest. Good. Now if we added the arms, as you slide the hands towards your hips, sitting up tall, you might even look slightly up. On the exhale, as your hands slide down towards your knees, a little slouching, leaning back, stretching the upper back. Sliding the hands towards the hips as you come up. And then sliding the hands down towards the knees as you round. So we're really moving with the spine. In extension of the spine as we sit up tall, and then a little bit of flexion of the spine as we round the body. So great primer for all other movements. This is the seated cat-cow. There's a lot of different ways to do this movement. So this would be a nice first movement to warm up the spine. Yeah, we'll try one more. Good. All right. And taking a moment, shoulders roll up, back and down. We're going to do a similar movement, adding a little extra stretch to the upper back. So still the same cat-cow movement for the spine. Hand position will change. So as I take a breath, I'm going to sit up tall, hands out to the sides. Exhale, push forward and round the upper back, chin towards your chest. Think of a cat stretching if your cat sat in chairs. Big breath. Exhale, pushing forward, rounding the spine, chin towards your chest a little bit. Good. Sitting up tall. Exhale, rounding. Good. Let's do one more. Good. And as you come back to center and the arms come back to your legs here, we'll do a little spinal twist. So for this one, I'm going to take my hand and slide it towards my hip and let the whole body gently turn, maybe looking over the shoulder. If you would like to add the breath, inhale to center, exhale to turn. And just continue on like that, maybe 2 more times each side. Feel free at any time to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Sometimes we can really increase our internal awareness in the body by closing the eyes and visualizing the parts of the body that we're focusing on. In this case, it's the spine. I'm going to do it one last time. A little warm-up twist. Good. Last one to the other side. Good. Wonderful. Now as you come back to center, the next twist is a slightly larger movement. So I'm going to start with my fingertips on my sternum. You can choose whichever arm you want to start with. I'm going to start with my right hand. So with my right fingertips on my sternum, I'm going to relax my shoulder and extend the arm out to the side. The other arm is going to come to the outside of the leg. Take a big breath. I'm going to follow my arm with my head and just see how far it goes. When I go as far as I can comfortably go, I'll take a breath. And then gently come back. Fingertips to sternum. Elbow relaxes. And we'll try the other side. So bringing the fingertips to your sternum, sitting up tall. Arm extends out to the side. The opposite arm comes to the outside of the thigh. Taking a big breath. Exhale, turning gently. Follow with your head. So follow the arm. Only go as far as you can go comfortably. It might be a less intense range of motion for you. And slowly back and down. Good. So we've done a twist and we've done some flexion extension. And so the last thing we'll do is some side bends. So let's just take a moment. We're going to hold the chair with one arm. The other arm is going to reach out. I'm going to reach and lean so my body weight is shifting onto one sit bone. I'm going to follow my arm all the way up. Once I'm up at center, I'm going to float the arm down. I'm going to do that one more time, reaching and leaning. My body weight shifting onto one sit bone here. Follow the arm up. And then the last one, I'm going to add a tiny little side bend to the other side. So as I reach, I'm going to follow the arm up, and I might do a small little side bend. And then come back. And I'm going to hold the chair with the other arm. We'll do the other side. So I'm going to reach and lean, and then floating the arm up, coming back to center. This is a nice little movement for balance as well as spinal mobility. Reaching, follow the arm. And on that last one, we'll add a little bit of a side bend to the other side. So reach and lean. Noticing how your weight comes more evenly weighted, and you bring the arm up, and then maybe a little bit over to the side. And coming down. Good. And now we're going to add in a little bit of movement from the hip joint. So hinging at the hip, a little release, a little gentle traction for your spine. And I've sort of named this the rocking chair for obvious reasons. So I'm going to start with my hands on my thighs. Okay, avoid the knee, but the thigh is the thigh bone's the biggest and strongest bone in your body. And if you press gently into it, you distribute some of the weight out of your spine. So I'm going to sit up tall. And as I hinge forward, like I was in a rocking chair, I might even let my heels lift a little as I look down at the floor. So I'm adding a little extra stretch into my lower back right now. Then as I slowly come up And as I lean a little bit back, I might lift the toes. I'm going to encourage my chin to come towards my chest. Otherwise, I see a lot of this, which is kind of hard on the neck. So a little core movement there. So I'm sitting up, leaning forward, the heels lift. Just imagine you are a rocking chair. So there's your stretch for your back as you lean forward, as the heels come down. As you lean back and the toes lift, the core muscles in the body have to engage. Coming up, gently leaning forward, heels lifting. And then as you come up, heels come down. And as you lean back, the toes lift. We'll try that one last time. Coming up, leaning forward, heels lifting. And then coming up. And leaning gently back, toes lifting. Chin towards your chest to stretch the back of your neck. Good. As you come back to center, it's taking a moment. A little shoulder roll. And a little shoulder shrug. All right, so we're going to do a couple more side bends and a couple more movements for some of those back muscles that we can do in a chair. So if it's comfortable for you, you may want to widen your legs a little bit, maybe even adjusting how you're sitting in your chair so that you feel comfortable or have sort of a V-like position. And so for this one, I'm going to start with taking one forearm, I'm going to lean over and just sort of rest here. So I'm getting a little side bend on this side. If this feels too intense for this side of the body, you could even just have your hand so there's less of a side bend. So here I am on my little side bend. I'm stretching the opposite side of the body. Couple options with the other arm. So the arm could extend out, palm down. You might just slice it in front of you towards your opposite knee. And now I'm feeling a deeper stretch in the side body. This really helps open up the rib cage for deeper breathing, stretch all those side muscles in the body. So one option is to float the arm in front of you like we just did. The other option for the arm would be up and over, and it depends on your body and your shoulder whether your arm will do this or not. If you know this isn't going to work for your shoulder, again, you could stay here without any arm movement or add the slice, which is usually more available to more bodies. All right. Good. So we've done that 3 times. We'll come up and take a moment, a little shoulder roll, sitting up tall. I'm going to move over to the other side. So I'm going to lean over and rest my arm. And then just see if the other arm can slice around. You could follow it, or you could keep your head stable. And just see. So you could explore and just see how would your arm feel if you moved it up and over. Does that feel comfortable for you? And if it doesn't, stay with the slicing arm, or you could even just leave the arm at your side. And do it one more time. Yeah. And then I'm going to take a moment as I come up. All right, so the next one I'm going to do a little stretch for the opposite side of the back. Feet are going to stay a little wide, legs are slightly wide in a V-like position. Take both hands to one leg. I'm going to turn to face the body in that direction. I'm just going to slide my hands down as far as they'll go, as if I'm pulling up my socks, sliding the hands back up again. I'm just going to do that 2 more times, just noticing how the body feels today as you do these movements. But really, this is just an embodiment practice. At the heart of all of yoga is just feeling the body, being present in the body, and moving with kindness, curiosity, and compassion. So we'll do the other side. When you're ready, we'll turn the hands to the other leg, gently sliding the arms down the leg, noticing how far you can go comfortably, and how does that feel for you today? Yeah, 2 more. Sliding down. Noticing that my head is not dropping down below my heart, which is important to prevent any sort of added pressure to the head. Yeah, good. Good. Wonderful. And as you come back in with your feet. Good. I'm going to take a moment. I'm still sitting a little bit forward in the chair, but I do want to address a little bit of the lower body. So I'm going to start with taking one leg. I'm going to lift up my heel. I'm going to take both hands and lace them underneath the thigh, and I'm going to lean back and see if I can use my arms to lift the leg. So I'm using my biceps here to hold the leg, and I can do some movement with the foot just to encourage a little awareness into the foot, pointing and flexing, and then we can add a little movement for the hip. So here, a little movement for the hip joint. Could do a little circle. Could do the other direction. Yeah, good. And then lastly, take a big breath. And maybe the nose coming towards the knee a little bit. And then coming back. Yeah, let's try the other side, knowing that you can leave anything out that doesn't work for your body today. I'm going to lift the other heel up and lean forward, hands under the thigh. As I lean back, I'm going to use my arm muscles to really hold the leg. So my leg's just coming around for the ride. Do some circles with my foot. See how it's feeling. Crack, pop. Pointing, flexing. And then a little bit of movement from the knee or from the hip joint. So everything's kind of moving together. Some circles. Could try the other direction. Good. Take a big breath. Curling in. Good. And coming back. Good. So we'll continue our gentle movement class today with a hip stretch. Again, some stretches aren't available to all bodies, so I encourage you to check in with your own body, and if something isn't feeling right, you might observe it. If you try it and it feels really uncomfortable for you, maybe not today, maybe not never, but maybe just not today, and it could be never, depending. So a nice hip stretch that we can do in a chair. So we already warmed up before the break for the hip joint. I'm going to do similar before. I'm going to lean forward, lace my hands under the leg. As I lean back and bring the leg with me, I'm going to see if I can flex my heel a bit, and I'm just going to see if it is available for me to place my ankle on the opposite thigh. This is what might or might not be available to you. So I'm encouraging the other leg to just fall out to the side here. Everybody's hip sits different. Some people's knee is going to be up. Some people it's going to be like this. As long as you're feeling a little bit of a stretch, great. If this is causing you extra discomfort, you might leave it out today. So as I sit up tall here, I'm going to see how it feels to lean forward, and this will increase the stretch in the piriformis muscle. So this is a figure 4 stretch from a chair. There's about 8 different ways of doing this stretch, and hopefully we can explore all of them over the weeks to come. And that would be it. I'm feeling the stretch in the outer hip. This is great for some bodies that might experience sciatica. It stretches that hip muscle, the piriformis, and then taking a moment to come up. And I'll do the other side. So starting with lifting the heel, leaning forward, see if I can bring the leg towards me. Okay. I like to flex the heel because this is going to stabilize my knee a little bit. Something that I notice a lot in this position is that people will start pulling on the foot, which can compromise the knee. So a little bit of reaching through the heel, sitting up tall. Sitting up tall, you might already feel quite a bit of sensation. You might not need to fold forward. But I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to fold forward just until I feel a little something in the outer hip. You might look down at the floor. Yeah, good. And then take a moment to come up when you're ready. Yeah, when the leg comes down. Good. All right. So a little stretch for the hamstring by just stretching out one leg. Pulling the toes back towards your body. You're going to stretch the back line of the body and the hamstrings in particular. Hands could be on the other leg. You might hinge at the hip and come a little bit forward, pressing into that strong thigh bone and looking down at the floor. And just take a moment here. Yeah, when you're ready, press into the thigh as you come up. Foot comes in. Do the other side, extending the leg. Just know that if the toe is pointed, we're stretching the front line of fascia and connective tissue and layers in the body. As soon as I pull the toes back, I'm starting to feel that tugging on the back line of fascia, Achilles heel, hamstrings, you name it. And most people are tight in that back line. So hands on the other leg, big breath. If you feel like you'd like to go further, you could hinge forward to get a little extra stretch. Taking a breath. Yeah, and then taking a moment to come out. On the hamstrings, there's many ways of stretching the hamstrings, and hopefully we'll be able to explore using balls under the feet to work the fascia, and straps and housecoat or belts. They make great props as well. We'll take a moment now to go back to the upper body, And the last little movement I would like to offer you today is something that we can do just to get the immune function moving a little bit, knowing that in the body, the lymphatic system is really determined, its movement of the lymph fluid is determined by movement in the body, which is the correlation between movement and exercise boosting our immune function. And so this is sort of a movement based on the breath of joy. We'll mainly work with the arm movements today. So the arm movements for this, it's going to be scooping the arms forward, scooping the arms out to the side, and then letting them float up, and then letting them drop. Now, if you would like to add the breathing, it's one breath, and it's sniffed in 3 sniffs. So it looks like this. And then a ha. Okay. So if you choose to leave that out, you could just do the arm movements up in front of you, out to the side, and then they go up and then chopping down. So I'm going to add the breath. Feel free to join me or not. I'm going to start with one big sigh breath. Here I go. Inhale, sniff, out to the sides and up, and 2 more. 1 more. Good. I'm going to do 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then just taking a moment with your arms, relaxing here. So we can take a moment to finish with a hand mudra, lacing the fingers together. Index and thumbs will sort of make that little gun position. And then I'm going to turn the thumbs towards my body, and then the thumbs come down. So I have a little space there that I'm going to place at the solar plexus. And I'm going to finish with 3 breaths in the nose, out the mouth. You might even close your eyes here, taking a breath in, out the mouth. Thank yourself for showing up to do the practice. 1 more breath in the nose, out the mouth. Acknowledge your body and all it does for you. And 1 more breath, clearing the space for the rest of your day. Taking a moment with the hands at Namaste at the heart center. Thank you so much for your practice today. Choosing to move a little bit. Be kind, be curious, and I hope to see you again.